welcome back. Episode 19 of Reimer on the Road. That is Ann. I am Scott, and we are always thrilled to have you following us along on this year-round journey across the great United States of America. In episode 19, we've got a jam-packed show for you with Theodore Roosevelt National Park. But before we tell you what we did and all the journey we had inside of Theodore Roosevelt, where are we headed to next, Dan?
We're heading one of the big ones. We're heading to Yellowstone. Yay! And we'll be staying in West Yellowstone for a two-part for Yellowstone. We'll move locations within Yellowstone. But right now we're starting off in West Yellowstone.
Yeah, Yellowstone was just too big and too spread out to have just one base camp, so we'll actually have two base camps, as Ann mentioned. But you can give us your feedback for any part of Yellowstone on this episode. We'll remind you of where we're going on the second part of Yellowstone in episode 20. But give us all your feedback on Yellowstone. It's a huge park, so obviously we know the big ticket things, but it's always the little things that you guys suggest to us that we found to be extremely helpful as we enjoy each stop that we have along the way. But for now, it is time to recap Theodore Roosevelt National Park in Medora, North Dakota. It's episode 19. Okay, I don't think we did Minnesota. A video of Minnesota. We did Minnesota, but I don't think we did a video of it. So this will be a combination of the two, right?
That's
so what do we got here?
We've got North Dakota.
North Dakota, which we drove from right there. Oops, sorry. Right there, all the way over there in one day. That was a good little haul, and we hardly ever turned. It was like a straight drive.
It was a pretty straight drive. Straight drive. Beautiful.
Yeah, especially once we got in here to the Badlands.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Another one. It's going to be in the books. Let's see if she gets that in as good as I get it. Oh, that's pretty good. Yep, that's pretty good. So you can see the path that is taking shape here.
I guess there.
Exciting. So another one in the books. And by the way, we're tracking license plates as well since we left.
Right.
Are we down to 2 or 3 that we do not have?
2.
Okay, what are the 2 that we do not have?
No, 3. Montana. No, Wyoming.
Wyoming, which we'll get. Soon. In fact, I think I saw Wyoming in this campground, so we'll check that out.
Wyoming, Arkansas.
Arkansas. We hadn't seen an Arkansas yet?
Haven't, and Hawaii.
Yeah. But we did see an Alaska.
We did get Alaska. Now, to preface that, I'm not staring at license plates every day, and then as we drive, it is hard to catch them sometimes because people are going by really fast.
Or I'm going really slow.
So we've so we're down to those 3, which we know for sure we're going to get Wyoming once we're there.
Yeah, we'll get it would stun me if we don't get Wyoming while we're here in North Dakota.
Yeah.
Arkansas shouldn't be hard either, even if it's on the return trip in the spring as we head back towards Greenville after making the turn.
Hawaii's going to be a little difficult, but maybe when we're in California.
Yeah. Maybe. Hoping.
Maybe.
Yep. So we're getting there.
We'll update you.
And we still got a lot of states that we haven't been to on this trip. So which ones will make the cut, which ones won't? You just have to stay tuned, right?
Yeah.
As you saw in episode 18, we had trailer tire issues with Allie, and we spent the night at the rest area. We had the valve stems replaced and all 4 tires, not just the 2 that failed on us. And that allowed us to move on and get out of the rest area, move on to Voyageurs National Park. But During the time people were trying to help us while we were at the rest area, I had several people come by, and one in particular who had been RVing for many years, and he was really concerned about our tires. Even though the valve stems were what failed, he thought our trailer tires were going bad and that we were in jeopardy of having a blowout. And so it really got me worried about our trailer tires. So once we had the valve stems replaced, we limped onto Voyagers going relatively slow, and then did some research on going to a tire dealership and having those tires looked at much closer by an expert to determine whether or not we needed new RV tires. So we left Voyagers before we got down to Fargo here for our boondock, stopped in a town called Bemidji, Minnesota at Northwest Tire, and they did a inspection of the tires, and indeed we were in trouble. So as it was explained to me by the manager at the tire facility, was that our Goodyear Endurance tires for Alley were rated for a weight that would fit the maximum of our gross vehicle weight of our trailer, which we are under, but we are right at it. We're very heavy as going full time, and so even though we're not over the specs and the limits, we're close. And as we go up and down roads and bumpy roads, the pressure of those tires are being squeezed down on sometimes when we hit these indentations in the road. And so what was happening is that even though we were technically under our maximum weight for the tire, it was close enough to where the tires were beginning to fail because of the extreme pressure we were putting on them for the number of miles we're doing and the types of roads we're on. So we went ahead and replaced all 4 of our trailer tires with 14 ply tires that are rated at a much heavier weight than what we are, which is, the primary thing, or even that we could legally put into Alley so that we don't exceed our gross vehicle weight. We also went ahead and upgraded to the metal valve stems, which were not what was put on us when we had them replaced at the rest area. So we got the higher duty or the heavier duty valve stems. So I feel like we're in a much better place with our trailer tires. Of course, nothing's foolproof. I mean, we're carrying a house down a road, anything can happen, but I think we're better suited now than what we were. And I think it's a good lesson when you're full timing, look at the weight capacity of those tires and exceed it. I think that minimizes your chance of having a blowout while on the road. So 4 brand new trailer tires cost a little bit in the pocketbook, but a peace of mind for our safety, I don't think you can put a price tag on that.
Let's talk about Theodore Roosevelt National Park's South Scenic Drive. It's a loop, but right now it is under construction, part of it. So it's 36 miles loop, but now it's only an in and out of about 30 miles in and out. So it was beautiful. We saw wild horses. We saw several prairie dog towns, which were really cute. You just kind of sit there and watch them making their little eeky noises and communicating. Saw a bison, not super close up, but it was the first one we'd seen on the trip, so it was exciting. And then I saw some way far in my zoom of my camera, and so that was nice, but not close up. Did lots of different little pull-offs, overlooks, did some quick hikes around those, and I think our favorite one was the Buck Hill overlook. And it actually had a couple opportunities. You can go both directions. It had 2 overlooks for it, and we just kind of took turns doing it because, of course, dogs are not allowed off trails or on trails. And so, I don't know, it's just beautiful. It was just a different beautiful. It was the Badlands, just different scenery than what we're used to. well worth your time if you're in the area.
Yeah, we the good thing I like about it is you could get to a lot of views just staying in your car or just hopping out of your car if you're not mobile. And we always think about that with people who can't hike a 3-mile hike to get to an overlook. And this had plenty that literally in the parking lot, but then it also had a couple times where you could walk a little ways and get different looks. So it kind of had a combination of both, which I think is always good.
It is, yeah. And it worked for us well with having Leo with us because we didn't want to leave him back the whole time. We would just take turns, and it was easy enough to do. You know, have him out by the car, and then one of us would go for a quick, 10-minute, 15-minute round trip, go to some overlooks and come back, and the other one would take over. So it worked out really well if you happen to have an animal with you. It's something that you can still explore. But yes, your point is well taken on the fact that yes, you can just go up some of them, park, and you're looking out your window and you're seeing the views.
I should also mention that while we didn't see a lot of wildlife, we also went in the hottest part of the day, which is not the best time.
We didn't get an early start. We never took advantage of any sunrises or sunsets, and I think I had read, I didn't think, I have read that there are some overlooks that were ideal for that. It just never fit into our schedule.
Okay, we've talked in previous episodes about the National Park downloadable app that you can get that gives you audio as you go through not only the national parks. I think there's some other things that are available other than just the national parks, but we're using it here again today inside of Theodore Roosevelt National Park, and I continue to be a huge fan of this app. Very informative, very instructive, gives you a lot of great history, gives you some suggestions on where to stop along the way and some things to do along the way. So I definitely continue to be impressed with this, and it just adds to the drive, the scenic drives, and gives us everything we need to make sure we optimize our time here inside the park on the drive. So outstanding.
Hey driver, coming up is Boycord Overlook. And I hope you brought some binoculars. Bison love to graze in this area just below the overlook, so make sure you keep your eyes open while you're stretching your legs.
Medora is a historic Western-themed town in the Badlands of North Dakota. It's located at the entrance to the south unit of Theodore Roosevelt National Park and only a mile or so from where we were staying. Medora is the hub of history, outdoor recreation, and family entertainment. A young Theodore Roosevelt visited Medora in 1883 and later purchased 2 ranches in the area.
Okay, so you're a big fan of the air fryer.
I am.
I'm okay with it one way or the other, but it's nice. I will say it does do a good job on some things, but it is very hot, and it creates a tremendous amount of heat, and I'm today's years old in thinking this is not a bad idea. You said let's take the air fryer outside and do the work out here. It's beautiful out here right now.
It is.
So
it
what was the reason?
The heat. It has a lot of heat exhaust that comes out the back.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, instead of having that in our rig, let's put it outside where I can sit outside, and it's beautiful.
Brilliant. I'm today's years old. Now, what are we having tonight? This is kind of a specialty of where we've been, right?
Yeah, I think it was Upper Michigan, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, when we first started seeing it, and actually Mackinac City.
Yep.
Pasties, and I'd never heard of that.
I haven't either.
I thought it was some
then.
kind of dessert, and when we looked it up, it's like a meat and potato. I think maybe it could have some turnips. It had different variations.
Okay.
It's like a meat pie, I guess. Right. But we kept then seeing, as we were traveling through Upper Peninsula of Michigan, we kept seeing all these stores that advertise, restaurants that advertise pasties. And of course, we wanted to try stuff from the area, but we just missed on that one.
Sure.
And then I was shopping, I think in Minnesota, and I came across a frozen section, and it had some like local, they were made in Duluth, Minnesota, so clearly it transfers over there too, and pasties.
Right.
So we were having I think it was a beef, and then also a beef and pork pasty.
And we moved this thing outside
Yes.
to prevent the heat. So let's take a look
Yes.
at that and see what those look like. Pull it out and let's see.
Well, and I've got to test it and make sure it got to
Okay,
the
all right. Yep.
make sure it gets to the right temperature.
Mm-hmm. It's going up pretty far.
Yeah, we needed it to be at least 180, and it looks like it made it.
All right, so we'll bring these things inside, and we probably knocked off about 10 degrees inside of our rig and inside of Allie by doing this outside. So that's a pretty cool little thing. We learned that today. You learn every day when you
I've
RV.
seen some people doing crock pots and stuff outside
Okay.
too, although crock pots don't.
So
to
this
me-
wasn't your idea.
No,
You learned it
no,
off the
I've-
internet.
I've seen people do it. Actually, I think my sister-in-law Suzanne Billings has talked about doing that before, and of course, crock pots don't tend to put out as much heat, but I know the air fryer does.
Yum, 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 yum. We started out the evening at the Pitchfork Fondue Dinner, which is a very unique dining experience in Medora, right near our campground, high above a bluff looking down on Medora. New York strip steaks are cooked on long-handled pitchforks and large vats of hot oil. The meal is served outdoors and it overlooks the town, offering panoramic views of the Badlands and Medora. The Medora Musical is an outdoor show, and it was celebrating the 60th anniversary in this year of 2025. Located at the Burning Hills Amphitheater, it's known for its country western music, comedy, and patriotic flair, and we definitely noticed all three of those. The backdrop is of the North Dakota Badlands. The show is family friendly and a little cheesy maybe, but definitely worth the time because it gives you a little bit of history in addition to the performances.
Poker on a warm summer's evening on a train down.
The shadows of the night are coming on.
Another day has slipped away, and still she goes on.
It's always with me, that gets me every time.
To the top of the hill, driving their horses forward.
They summon every ounce of strength and climb up past the gunfire.
And of course, everyone loves a fireworks show. The North Loop of Theodore Roosevelt National Park is a 14-mile scenic drive in about an hour and 15 minutes from Medora. It's much quieter, a little more rugged than the South Unit. It does have some nice overlooks. In most cases, abundant wildlife, but we didn't see much, I think mainly because we were going during the middle of the day. And the scenery is nice as well. There are a few different looks of the Badlands from the North Unit that you don't get in the South.
There you go, episode 19, Theodore Roosevelt National Park. I kind of found this to be a bit of a surprise in a good way. And I'll start by throwing it to you for a question, but hopefully you're going to agree with me because I think I recall your comments after it. But the South Unit Scenic Drive, which was right by our campground, literally a mile, less than a mile probably from
less
the
than a
campground.
mile.
It was stunning. I mean, absolutely beautiful.
It was, you know, and we're going up and we can overlook our campground, which was kind of cool. And then we get right around the first corner and there's some wild horses. So it started off with a bang because I think that was one of my favorite things to see in the park. But yeah, just unusual scenery, not what you see in South Carolina. And I think it's our first real change of scenery. I mean, I'm not, you know, there's been a lot of trees and forest and farmland, and all of a sudden we hit the Badlands, and the scenery is changing. It was beautiful, beautiful, very easy drive. It used to be a loop. They're doing some construction, so right now it's an in and out. I don't know, it took us a couple hours maybe to kind of do it. We stopped at a lot of places, took pictures. We didn't do any hikes other than just the quick ones that were right there at some of the scenic overlooks. And we stopped at the end and had a little tailgate picnic lunch with a beautiful scenery.
Now, the park, Theodore Roosevelt National Park, is broken into 3 sections.
Yeah.
The south, and then the central area, which is the Elks Lodge, I think is Theodore Roosevelt's lodge that he had there.
And it's just the remnants of them
Yeah,
at this point.
and we didn't do that at all. And then the north unit, which, and they're all separated, and the north unit also had some nice views. I don't rank it in the same way that I did the south unit, and it took so long to get to. That was kind of,
it was
from
like
where we
an hour drive or so. And if you only have a chance to do one of them, I think the south one, and it's the closest right off I-90,
Yes.
I think. So it's going to be the easiest one to do. But, I mean, the north one, if you are there for enough time, I think it's still worth doing it. We saw the longhorns. They have a little herd of longhorns.
That was a highlight. Yeah.
So that was kind of cool because I had just said, oh, we didn't see the longhorn, and we turned a corner, and it was like they were there. So so that was kind of cool. Saw some more buffalo, prairie dogs. So some of the same stuff there, but it just... it was still beautiful, but it's an hour drive. There's not a lot to see on the way up there. And so if you only have a chance to do one, I would definitely do the south.
Another highlight for me was our Pitchfork steak fondue dinner and the Medora Musical. Now, before you don't misread what I'm saying, the Medora Musical is a family musical. It's not Broadway. I mean, it's fun. It's lighthearted. It moves pretty fast. Has the fireworks show at the end. It's fun, but you're not going to see a Broadway show when you do that, and that's no disrespect to the people in it. But it's in the same location, generally speaking, as the Pitchfork steak fondue, which was really cool and great views of eating dinner. To me, that was a fun night.
It was a fun night, and yes, there again, just like it's not a musical, Broadway musical, the Pitchfork steak fondue is not a 5-star restaurant either. But I mean, I thought the steak was really good, and unique, and then it's just a buffet for all of your sides, which I thought were tasty. But it was a buffet, so you can only do so much on a buffet. But the scenery is what I think really steals the show for you on that one. So it made for a really good night. It was an early dinner. You were done in a time to be able to walk your whole, 200-300 yards to get to the musical and partake in that. And that was like a 2-hour musical, I think, with an intermission.
Yep, a little intermission in it. It flowed well. I would say it's family friendly at the musical, so there's no alcohol if that's your thing. But the restaurant did have it. They had so you get a little bit of both in that regard. The city of Medora, very small, quaint, very very neat. I thought was cool. It's kind of a touristy town. There's not a whole lot outside of the gift shops and those types of things.
But a different touristy town.
Yeah.
I feel like, I was talking to one of the workers at one of the stores, and he made a point, and after he said it, I noticed it. They've tried to, it's not like every shop is the same. It's not you're walking into one gift shop that has all the same trinkets and souvenirs and stuff, and then you walk into the next door one that's the exact same thing. I mean, they've actually done a pretty good job of diversification of the stores, and so it actually, I thought, was a nice stroll through the town. And there again, they also have pretty good parking for larger vehicles, which was good, although we walked to it from our campground. If you are driving through, it had a lot of street parking that was ideal for large vehicles.
All right, our campground, while we were there, the Medora campground, really perfectly located in terms of getting in and out of the South Scenic Drive and the Visitor Center, which is literally less than a mile from the campground. We were out in an area that didn't have a whole lot of shade, but that was fine because the temperature wasn't too bad. It really wasn't such a hindrance there. But really, it's about location, and I think if you're going to do Theodore Roosevelt National Park and you want to be close to the national park, Medora is your base camp, and there are just a few campgrounds in the Medora area. But I definitely would recommend the Medora campground.
Yes. I mean, literally right outside the entrance to our campground was the entrance to the scenic drive for Theodore Roosevelt. But also directly across from us was the entrance to the Medora Musical and the Pitchfork steak fondue. So, and then you could walk to the downtown. It had some paths right there along the river, which I don't even know which river it was.
Little Missouri. It was the
Little
Little Missouri River. Yep.
So you had a nice little area to go kind of hiking in, which it was beautiful. I mean, and you were really looking up at Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
Yep.
So great views. People were really nice. I think the only downfall that we saw is that they sold really small bundles of firewood.
Yeah, very teeny tiny. And I thought about
all that we've seen.
You know, now that we're in South Dakota, the bundles are bigger. I will say that, but it's still expensive firewood here. But then I got to thinking, there's not a lot of trees in North Dakota, so wherever they're getting their firewood from is not right around the corner. So I don't. Maybe that's the reason they were small and tiny. I don't know, but we were able to make do with what we had. I definitely recommend Theodore Roosevelt National Park. We originally we're staying 5 nights. We ended up leaving a day early so we could get down to South Dakota. We definitely had too much time in Theodore Roosevelt National Park. I think you could easily in 3 days, 4 nights, you could hit everything you want to do.
Absolutely. And you probably could have done that in 3 nights, 2 days,
Yep.
you know, but we wanted to give ourselves time to, and we had it. It was great. We had a down day, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with down days. We can't go all the time. But yes, Theodore Roosevelt National Park was a nice surprise if you were in the area. And even if you're not, maybe you should detour up to it. Yeah. I think it's worth a stop.
Totally agree with that. As we said in the opening, we are headed to West Yellowstone. Yellowstone will be a 2-part episode because it's just so large. We're going to stay in 2 different places, but give us your feedback on Yellowstone. Follow Reimer on the Road on Instagram, right?
Follow it. Yep, I try to post every couple days. Try not to overdo it, but yes, Reimer on the Road on Instagram.
Yep, and then of course you can comment right here on YouTube or wherever we share this YouTube video, Facebook, etc. We'll take your comments in any way, shape, or form that you can give them to us, and there's also reimerontheroad@gmail.com. So episode 19 is a wrap. In episode 20, you're going to hear all about South Dakota, where we are now, and we hit multiple national parks and see some iconic things here. Can't wait to share that in episode 20. But that's it for episode 19. It's Ann, it's Scott, it's Reimer on the Road. Do it today.
Feeling their resolve. They knew what was to come wasn't going to be easy, but it would be necessary for their survival.
This is my fight song. Take back my life song.